Welcome to Florida Education News. My name is Dr. Tony Arza, and today I have the pleasure of sitting down with a board member and candidate in Lee County Public Schools, Armor Persons. It's a pleasure to sit down with you.
Thanks for having me.
So, look, we'll jump right in. It's election season in Florida, and a lot of voters, residents, citizens in Florida want to know about the people that are running for office. Could you tell me a little bit about yourself and your background and what made you want to run for school board?
Yeah. Well, I was born and raised in Florida, in Lee County specifically, where I am currently the chair on the board. And I came up through public schools. My daughter came up through public schools. My wife was public schools. My wife's mother was in all Lee County public schools. And now my grandkids are in Lee County public schools. So what happened was 4 years ago, it was right after or during the end of COVID, parents found out a lot of different things that were going on in the schools, and they were upset. And I was listening to the radio and came across that boys were going into the girls' bathrooms. We had a poster up said that was our policy in Lee County, and I said, that can't be. And so I went to the school board meeting, and I noticed that, and that was actually the policy, and how the board just fought with each other. They were so unprofessional. And it was that night I said, somebody's got to do something. And then I said, just as well be me, because I think I could do a heck of a lot better job. So I decided to run there.
Well, and you bring up the fact that you've been there for a long time. So obviously the fact that you're a sitting board member and you're running for re-election, obviously it means that you still believe there's work left to do. Could you tell us a little bit about what are the things you're most proud of, and then what are some of the things that you'd like to see change moving forward?
Well, the first year was a little bit chaotic because we came in right after Hurricane Ian.
Okay.
So that was the big thing, is to get the students and the teachers back in the schools open. So the whole first part of the year that was done. We were coming off COVID and scores from all over the state because of having to learn on the internet and trying to learn when they did go back to school with masks over the teachers' faces. We were down low academically. But then I did my research and found out that our district had been going down each year academically. We're the 8th largest, but we were the 10th largest in the state the 10th lowest in the state as far as academic achievement among the Big Ten. So my next achievement was that we got to try to get the achievement scores back up and the graduations back up. So we've been working on that. We did put some great policies in. The very first night I was able to pass the Guardian program. And that was exciting because it had failed like 3 times before. We had a very liberal board at that time, and they did not want any kind of arms or guns in the schools, And so we have a very great SRO in that, and we have strengthened our safety every single year. And I will simply say that I think we are the safest school district in the state right now. We have more things set that the other ones are trying to copy us.
Yeah, no, and there's been some media around Lee County. I was actually sat down recently with the Commissioner of Education, and he gave a shout out to Lee County and the board because there have been some fights around trying to change how teachers are paid, and I know that it's been a priority for you guys in Lee County to make sure that teachers are paid fairly, but that's led to some fights with the local union. Could you kind of share a little bit about that and where you stand on that?
Yes. We have given actually the largest raises in the state. We've given a 5%, an 8%, and a 7.5% the first 3 years that I've been on there. But the teachers did not get all that because the union decided that they wanted to give the starting teachers a much lower percent. For instance, when we did 8% the first year, the beginning teachers got 4%, and the experienced teachers got 12%. And they said, compression. I said, okay, I can understand that a little bit. Even though someone making a higher salary, 8% of a higher salary is more than 8% of a lower salary. But the problem that left us with, and they did that for 3 years, the problem that left us with is we had the lowest starting pay of all the surrounding counties around us. And that makes it very hard to fill open positions. we had 200 open positions almost at the beginning of every year. And most of them happened to be in my district because we are a low income and heavily Hispanic and new people coming in all the time. And it's more challenging to teach at those because of the English problems learning it and the lack of parental support. So we came up with an incentive program to pay the teachers. And we found a law, it's called the Florida Educational Emergency Act. And we were able to give incentives to teachers to go teach at those challenging schools. We had to have a D or an F school to do it, and we happened to have a couple of Ds at the time, so we were able to invoke that. The problem is we're not going to have any Ds anymore because we've been able to bring everything up. Our achievement is going up because what happened was we were able to fill all of those openings, 100%. So instead of having 200 classrooms without a certified teacher and a substitute every day, they now have all 200 of those have certified teachers. And of course, achievement's going to go up from that. We also had the highest graduation rate last year that they've ever recorded in Lee County, and we topped it again this year. So we're doing really well. I think we're over 95.6% was this year's.
Yeah, no, and you know, taking on that fight obviously isn't easy, and I know that there's been some pushback. Why was it so important to you to take on that fight? Obviously, anytime you want to change something, you push against the current system. Why was it so important to you to push back against that system?
Well, first I tried to work with them. I mentioned the hurricane. Well, I was also made chair right off the bat. Got elected, brand new school board member, made chair right after a hurricane. So it was difficult, but I went and met with the union, and they just are very interested in just doing their own thing. And we did not have a high representation in our district of the teachers. We have 6,000 teachers, and they had way less than half of them in the union. And now, so I thought, and I supported that they should have at least half of the teachers join their union if they're going to represent all of the union. And the state passed that law this year, and that's working out. I think will work out very well. And I have a daughter that was in the legislature, and that was actually her bill. And so I supported it. Governor DeSantis supported it, and the Commissioner of Education, Stassi, supported it. So we were all in good stead there.
Yeah, and you know, and the last question I'll ask you is, in Florida right now, we have universal school choice. Parents are voting with their feet, and they're choosing what schools that their children will attend. And there have been some board members in the state of Florida that have been very vocal against that. And a lot of voters and constituents in Florida are curious, where do you stand? Where do you stand on the issue of choice?
Well, I was a competitive athlete. I played on the tennis circuit for a while and worked in that field. So I believe you compete. I mean, that's the way I look at it. Not that you try to shut down the other people, but it has to be a fair playing field. So the first thing I want to see is, because the private schools particularly are getting state money, that they should, like the public schools, have a certified teacher in every room. And they should be accountable, get a grade for their class. But that's not happening. There's no regulations on them. There's over 4,000 pages of regulations on public schools and less than 400 on private schools. So it gives you a little bit of an idea, and yet they're getting the same stipend. I believe in pro-choice. I think every parent should have a choice to take their child to a private school or charter school or to a public school. I just believe we should be the best choice. And right now, I believe we are the best choice. We offer more higher academic programs. We have our jewel is the dual enrollment. We have our high school students can get free credits from University of Florida, Florida Gulf Coast University, Florida Southwestern University, and Berry University. Those are the four that we work with. We also have dual enrollment with our career and tech, because we have 2 career and tech colleges. So some of these students are graduating high school with certifications and going right into the workforce and making real close to 3 figures. So I might actually be making 3 figures, which is an excellent career path. And we have 19 major silos that they can choose from on that, and each one of those are broken up like public safety. We have 911 operators, we have fireman academy, we have police academy. I mean, we have just everything, you know, and they do that for all the different trades, health and everything else. And then we have the largest JROTC program, not only in the state, but in the nation. And we have a lot of students. We had, I think, 3 this year go to service academies. Several listed, are going to college on actually ROTC scholarships when they get in college. And they'll have that paid for. But even the ones who just take the program, which is the majority of them, and by the way, the majority are girls, believe it or not. It teaches tremendous leadership. And so it's a great program, and I totally support that. So we offer that, and then of course, I mentioned the dual enrollment for our high achievers, but we also have the IB program we offer. We have the ACE program, the Cambridge program, the advanced placement programs, all giving college credits. And so that's just an awesome possibility. We have a lot of homeschool and charter people come back for high school because it really is the best choice.
Well, look, thanks so much for sitting down with us. It's been a real pleasure. Wish you the best of luck in your election.
Thank you.